Hello everybody and welcome back to the DreamHack Summer 2013 first group stage of the DreamHack Open tournament. How you doing?
Okay.
Hanging in there.
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there. We have another best of three coming your way, and it is going to be GoOdy against Feast in a Terran versus Protoss starting in a couple of moments time. And as you can see, I'm Apollo and he's out of control.
I am physically in control, but my voice, I'm told, sounds very different, so I've been asked to say something about Batman, so I'll try to do that before I leave.
Oh dear, there's let's see if you can squeeze in a quote in this next game.
I'm trying to remember Batman quotes, though. What did he actually end up saying?
Swear to me!
Did he say swear to me?
Yeah.
When?
It was in Dark Knight.
Swear to me. I can't.
You said it. There's a lot of
Christian Bale.
You just Google any Christian Bale quote and you could probably pull it off, Jeff.
It's true. All right, I'll try.
All right.
But in the meantime, so have you seen GoOdy's TVP lately? Because I was under the impression he mechs a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but
Are we
before we
gonna
just
talk about
discuss
this
that, look,
later?
look,
Yeah,
this is the WCS leaderboard. If you didn't know, this is a Tier 1 WCS tournament, giving out 750 points to the first place. That is 16-ish players, as it's a little bit unscaled at the moment. People are very equal in points, but by the end of the year, by BlizzCon in November, I think it's November or October, there will be a 16-player tournament because of this system, because of these points right there. Currently, only 3 non-Koreans are in this position to go to that tournament. We have Stefano, Tilo, Demaga.
Those European Zergs that made it to that not grand final, excuse me, but the Grand Slam final.
That's right. So we'll see how well they can do through the rest of the year. Players here are fighting for points to get onto that leaderboard. We'll see if those 3 players can extend their points or if other players are going to go further ahead. We'll see. All right, so we'll see how things are going to shape out with this DreamHack Tier 1 tournament. No one's going to topple innovation at number 1, but we may see some people reach into that top 16 depending on who gets where. But we are now ready for GoOdy versus Feast. Is he going to mech? Is he the Panzer General we know and love?
This map not necessarily like screams mech, but in their positions, as you can see here, top right, bottom right, a little bit of a pathway for that kind of play. But of course, I don't know that GoOdy goes into a map and is like, this map's good for mech. I think he just says, yeah, I like tanks. I make tanks.
GoOdy in his spare time does like to play a lot of World of Tanks. It's a fact.
Is it actually?
No, it's not. I just lied. All right, up here in the top right, we do have Millennium's Feast. There's the red Protoss here. There he is, 19 years of age. His real name is Jeremy Vaznik. I hope I didn't crucify that for you. And down here in the bottom right, it is, of course, none other than the Panzer General himself from Germany. It is GoOdy. Sasha Lupp, representing ESC for a very long time, if not all his time in StarCraft 2.
As far as I remember, that is absolutely correct. And ESC is kind of like ebbed and flowed in terms of their commitment to international StarCraft 2. Like, they're very much so a German brand, but they've had their daisies. They had, I don't know, they've signed a few interesting players, but it's always been GoOdy that's anchored them for sure. But I think Heart of the Swarm's been pretty good to GoOdy. Like, and he was always good. Like, people would say he's good for his APM. That's like what people always use to describe him. But in Heart of the Swarm, I've heard a lot less of the APM description of him. It's more like, actually, he's just good. He's been doing better in Heart of the Swarm, I feel.
He's been doing good, and alongside GoOdy, I'd like to say Strelok as well. You know, using a lot of mech. Both of those guys, hand in hand, dominating the tanks across the European scene. But we'll see what he's going to do. You did bring up a great point, though, in these positions. For example, if GoOdy just takes his natural in that very easily taken location and then takes a third, where is Feast's third going to be himself? It's going to be in the same vertical line, sorry. It's going to be in that same vertical line, so it's going to be very difficult. Is he going to go ahead and expand at a different location?
Out of this, he's letting us know he could take that other 12 o'clock third, but even that one has 2 entry points that are fairly wide ramps, which means if I'm going mech, I'm not necessarily doing Hellion run-bys, but I still have an open space to work with, which is good for mech and bad for other things. You don't want confined spaces where that mech play gets really slowed down and chugged down by like Immortals.
That is right. We'll see if that's going to be the case here. We did have GoOdy with his build here. There's double gas, by Feast. 2 in each at the moment. Going to be looking towards getting that Stalker and Mothership core out momentarily. I guess it's a Mothership core. Yeah, it is going to be, of course.
Yep, that Independence Day laser beam coming on the top of the Nexus, letting us know that they're summoning their big, bad Mothership core.
A big, badass Mothership core.
Look at this scouting path by GoOdy, by the way, because this is worth noting. On the ladder, it's cross-only. So right now he's doing the worst possible scout, in part because he's not sure which version of this map it is.
We've seen that a lot today, people not knowing where they spawn, and it's quite clear set in the rule system that this map is horizontally disabled. Everything else is go, so you can be cross-positioned, it can be, as we see here, in these positions too. So GoOdy a little bit unfortunate here. He's going to get a very late scout, has no idea what's going on, so he's automatically forced to get down a bunker immediately. He doesn't know anything, so he's gone one barracks, with a reactor into double Marines and straight towards a command center and bunker. And now he's going to move across the map and actually going to encounter a Stalker. And Feast obviously not going to let this get away. So GoOdy is in the dark completely, like no information, nothing.
Look what Feast is doing. He's on his way to a ghost base as well.
These guys.
It would appear that these guys are not too fond of reading the rules. If Feast goes to top left, I might lose it a little bit here.
All right, he should.
He's like, wait a second, there's really not a base here.
Now Feast is like, wait a minute, both of these players, and he's going to go bottom right, and he will spot him now. So that is rather funny.
WTF, of course, standing for where's the fortress?
Where's the fortress?
Not finding it.
Where is that planetary fortress? As he pokes down and now does see the bunker, and now realizes where his opponent is. So both players having quite late scouts here, neither of them knowing exactly what's going on. And look at this from GoOdy. Starport and Widowmine on the way. So he is going to start to drop these Marines with some mines.
Reactor's still in the barracks, has me wondering if he's going to go for that kind of like Marine poke at the front while dropping the main, which can be quite potent. Photon Overcharge, of course, shuts down the Marines, but oftentimes the Marines aren't meant to do the damage. They're meant to distract the Protoss from the optimal reaction to the Widowmines and the Mineral Line inside that main.
I mean, is he going to use the Forge for a cannon here at all? I mean, if you look at his scouting information, I mean, what has he really seen if I have a quick look here? He's seen the barracks and he's seen the factory with the Mothership core. Is this enough to warrant a cannon? Well,
you actually kind of naturally go cannons these days just because of how prevalent drop play is regardless, but you also see he's getting a fast armor, and an armor at this time means that he can go for armor now and attack after, and he doesn't actually have to chrono boost it, which means he gets more chrono boost on his probes, as opposed to going for the double forge a minute or two later, which then means that you should be chrono boosting it, but that's chrono boost that you otherwise could be using on probes.
All right, well, we'll see if this drop's going to do damage. He's about to send it off now as the Medivac hits its way across the right-hand side of this map. Cannons in both mineral lines. There's observers around as well. And
Marines just chilling at home. I don't quite get that. This is like... this is not a fast drop, by the way, because he expanded before. So this is just like a, hey, maybe you're just not paying attention.
Feast sees this, and it's going to be very easy to stop. He's got 2 Stalkers, 3 Sentries, more Stalkers getting warped in. This isn't going to quite do the damage that he's expecting as a fake Phoenix, a hallucinating Phoenix makes its way and dies. And here comes a drop by GoOdy. Immediately pushed back. He's going to head towards natural, or he drops one mine just outside the range of the cannon.
That is a dangerous spot to try to build a pylon. Okay, he's going to move forward. He's actually getting some damage in, by the way. That Widowmine's about to fire off.
Oh, gets a couple of probes there on that Widowmine. Gets two kills for its troubles, and the other Widowmine does fall down. With 4-ton overcharge bait, and it looks like this Medivac is going to be pushed away. But still, I mean, considering that we didn't think he was going to do anything, right? He managed to pick off a couple of probes.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, any probes off that 2-base economy is going to actually kick a little bit of a dent into the Protoss economy, much more than they'd like.
Yeah.
We do see factories going down in that production tab, which means these will be mech. So I think perhaps because of the points... There's sound cutting in and out a little bit. Because of this map and where they're at, where the bases can be, this is great for mech. So I think that's perhaps a planned evolution, but I think it could be a reactionary one as well.
Well, he's about to throw down another factory too. He's really pumping out these factories. He's got a lot of Marines with this too. He continued to build Marines. He will switch over for a factory to start getting some Hellbats out himself here, as the armory did finish up. Very surprised not to see that +1 attack being researched, considering he did just get that armor. Okay, there it is, sorry. Just get that armory. But look at this, we do have Zealot Charge on the way. Has Feast managed to
Yeah.
scout this out, more importantly? He's seen all the factories, so what is Feast now thinking? What's his thought process upon seeing all these factories added on?
Did he see them?
Yes, he has.
Well, then he has to know it's mech, but I don't know. I think I disagree with the charge upgrade unless he plans on really trying to put the hurting on him before he gets to 3 base. Charge just gets, I mean, Zealots get evaporated by any number of Hellbats at all, and that's hand in hand with mech. It's not going to be pure tank. I mean, look no further than that production tab where there's 3 Hellions being produced at a time, or excuse me, Hellbats.
Yeah.
You usually want to go blink first, not necessarily because you want to be blinking into their main, but rather you want those more mobile stalkers to try and pick off the medevacs, the Hellbat drops, that kind of a thing, and then engage with a high immortal, perhaps Colossus army.
Well, he's going to have quite a... I mean, look at Feast's gas. He's got 700 banked up. That's a lot of Archons if he goes over to Archons pretty fast here, especially because he's getting these armor upgrades. I mean, I guess the Zealots will do, tank a little bit more, but in the end, they're still going to be facing up against +1 Hellbats, and they're going to get roasted.
It's a very good point. I mean, it's this timing right here that we see moving out that's the scariest one, in my opinion. As mech goes on, Protoss is able to hone their unit structure down to a much more adjustable place where they can respond to this, but this early push off of just a 2-base Protoss economy, you're talking like 1 or 2 Colossus, 1 or 2 Immortals. We see here actually no Immortals. I just think Feast is in a lot of trouble.
All right, how's he going to play this out? 1, 2 force fields, 5
like
in total.
that.
Oh, Marines do squeeze past there, but he will be able to spray them down there, I suppose, with this Colossus. 3 Archons getting morphed in. Gateways are finishing up, and Immortal trying to get out here. Photon Overcharge needs to come in on this Nexus to help hold this fort. I don't know where his Mothership Core is at the moment, but we'll see if he's going to hold this position. Turrets coming down as well. There's Photon Overcharge. Couple of force fields go down, and he does kill off quite a few of these Marines. But still, this push is coming. It's
and now he has
damage.
3 Zealots, or he just warped in more, but like, I mean, not that Blink in this situation like bins him. It's not like we talk about that kind of difference, but this push, this is why you don't take this third. I mean, that's one thing we learned. Feast is starting to whittle it down, but that tank count is so hot. Like, he's killing the frontline units, but it's...
Probes are coming off now. He doesn't look like he can defend it here. Oh, the probes evaporated. Yeah. They were there, and then they're not. That's my play-by-play for that. They just disappeared. And now the tanks keep rolling in. Reinforcements coming in here by GoOdy. And at the end of the day, if this 3rd base goes down, this Nexus, the game is virtually over. He cannot lose this, but he's going to.
Yeah, he's trying to defend it. To your point, he could have made the choice to sack it and look for a better location to engage. But because he's used his army to try and save that expansion, and now it's died, we look to the Protoss and see no advantage. Like, maybe the Terran's up a base, but the Protoss has this gigantic army, but that's not the case. He's got a shambles of an army, no 3rd base. Feast is hoping that GoOdy falls out of his chair, looks at his opponent's computer screen as disqualified. That's how he wins this game.
Oh, dearie me. This is a terrible position to be in here. But we identified this very strategy before the game even begun, just because the positions they were in, that this was going to be a threat if he took his 3rd base in this location. And GoOdy hit it well, and we're about to see one last final push from the Panzer General. A lot of tanks in here, focusing down the Archons and the Immortals. Hellbats coming in. We are seeing quite a bit of damage done to these tank lines, and he may be able to clean this up.
Yeah, it's
close. A couple more Zealots get warped in.
It'll get quote-unquote cleaned up, but he's using his own head as a mop right now, so it's like this weird... Yeah, you cleaned it up, but also your face is dirty, and you might have brain damage now. This 3rd is going down up there. The army does get, again, like you said, quote-unquote cleaned up, but he's down 40, or excuse me, like about 20 supply, moving towards 30, pushing 40. But here's the problem I have, like, GoOdy just makes more of the same. It's not like losing those Marines means that now his composition's weak. Whereas what does Feast do? Feast wants Immortals, but he's stuck on 1 Robo because he doesn't have the economy for 2. He wants Stalkers, but he's got Charge. Why would you upgrade Blink at this point? So he's kind of stuck in the wrong unit composition, basically.
Well, he's going to have to deal with that then, as we do have a Hellbat drop coming towards the natural. There's nothing here to stop it at the moment. Probes going down. Lots of probes.
Those probes accidentally died. They were firing at the cannon, but Hellbats are so dangerous that they've accidentally killed everything else in their way.
That's kind of what Hellbats do.
Yeah, look at this.
Kind of
look
kill
at this.
everything. Just kill a Zealot, a cannon, almost.
How many probes died?
A lot of probes killed there, but I mean, GoOdy back at home is comfortable on 3 bases. That army
Here comes the counterattack, Apollo.
It's massive. It's going to do lots.
It's killing some sentries.
It's really funny that it's found a way.
He needs to micro this perfectly, and if he does, he'll still die.
He managed to get into the S&V line, though. Very surprising that the tanks are a little bit out of position there. But now with the Ghost Academy coming down, we're going to see Ghost come into play, a couple of EMPs on these high shielded units, such as the Archons and the Templar, the Archons and the Immortals. They're going to start to drop incredibly fast. And GoOdy now with double Armory 2, he's catching up in upgrades. He's got +2 attack down, he's getting +3 attack, he's got the +1 armor on the way, 4th command center on the play.
Yeah.
He's got a lot here.
You know, I look at this game and I continuously want to count out Feast, but as I say that, he is hanging in there. He's got a second Robo coming in. He is starting to get those Immortals out. He's done a pretty good job of holding off these Hellbat drops, all things considered. Like, he has lost a lot of probes, but GoOdy's been doing great drops, too. And it is 3-base versus 3-base. My biggest concern is I just keep looking at the army of GoOdy and I go, what stops that? Like, the biggest weapon against mech is to counterattack and to really take advantage of their lack of mobility, but this map's not big enough for that.
I don't know where to counterattack here. As another Hellbat drop gets in there and picks off quite a few probes once again here. And any moment now, I mean, GoOdy's just buying his time at this point. He can move out at any point, but what he's going to do most likely here is he's pretty much towards your supplies. Wait a couple of seconds, get up to 200, and you get over the other side of the map, especially with the addition of the Ghosts now. And this army, just look at the size of it. There are so many Hellbats. And like you said, how does he stop it? He's building 2 Immortals side by side with decent EMPs on these things. They aren't going to last.
I think that's something we're going to learn as we go, is that Immortals actually might not be the answer to this kind of army. Because look, it's literally, well, 12 tanks is a lot more than I thought, but it used to be mech was like 25 tanks, and then whatever in support, like a couple of Thors and Hellions. But now it's actually the Hellbats that are the biggest concern. And it's not like you don't want Immortals, but they're not the feature. Those Hellbats are the biggest concern, and these Zealots are going to get evaporated.
All right, watch how fast this army dies. Let's watch together. Protoss players, hold hands, as we're about to see this army get absolutely annihilated here. If I was Feast, I would have built 5 Stargates on the other map and gone Void Raise, gotta build my Void Raise. Because it would have killed everything. But now look at this Panzer army.
Goodbye, Zealots.
Goodbye everything. And he tries to drop onto the army a little bit with that War Prism, but still.
Which was nice by the way.
Absolutely.
Not even close.
Not even close.
He lost 15 supply, and the other guy lost 70.
7?
And this 70. Sorry.
Wow.
And this won't get any closer, by the way. Those Hellbats can do it themselves.
Yeah, this is just complete carnage. GG, well played. GoOdy takes up map number 1 here in his group. The Panzer General returns. These 2 players playing in Group 20. It is Feast, GoOdy, and 2 Swedish players, Protoss and Terran, KRP and MAD. 2 amateur players going up against these 2 professionals, once again fighting for the difference between 1st and 2nd place in their minds unless an upset happens. But
which hasn't happened yet, right? There's been no unexpected results, I would say.
Not just in this tournament, in DreamHack Open itself, the way that it's situated in stage 1 of the tournament, we see these type of groups. And there is never ever, oh my god, I almost dropped it again. There has never ever been a major upset. An amateur versus pro player. Never. There has never been an amateur that's made it out over a pro player in Group Stage 1. Feast, as you can see right now on screen, is going through the replays like, how the hell, what the hell? What just happened to me?
I think to your point, because you said that we were talking about this before it ever got to that stage, I feel like Feast had to identify the possibility, given his opponent, the map, and their bases. And he needed to start to almost, I don't want to call it blind countering, but he wanted to like really leverage the fact that, okay, GoOdy's going to come after me, and I am not going to engage. I'm going to counterattack. And look to do something weird with like a Dark Shrine, or like you said, Void Rays, like proxy double Stargate Void Rays. If that shows up against a 0 anti-air Terran army, that could win the game.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty big for Feast, as we saw on screen there. I mean, he's dropped out. He was in Premier League in Season 1, Europe Premier League. He dropped down to Challenger League. He dropped out of WCS. In total, he's out of WCS at the moment and has to re-qualify into WCS. And we looked at the point system before. He's going to have a hard time making it to the top 16. GoOdy, on the other hand, likewise, hasn't been able to qualify for Challenger, not even Premier League. So both of these players are at a relatively similar level where they are in the WCS system at the moment. But at this point, their focus is on this best of 3, on, beating each other.
Yeah.
But the next map, do you know the next map? I'm actually not even out of the game yet, so I'm going to get slapped off.
Akalon Wastes. Which
for mech, what do you think about this?
A fantastic map for mech. Absolutely fantastic. So how do they do the maps? Is it
So there's 5 maps.
preset, right?
There's 5 maps, veto each, 3 maps left, random 3 maps.
Okay. Because I feel like this is a map GoOdy would pick. Like, I don't think Feast is like, all right, mech, game 2, let's take it to Akalon Wastes. I got a better chance there. No, you're going to face mech again. I just feel like it's more predictable, so hopefully what's happening is Feast says, now that I know it's coming, I'm going to make different choices. Like, it's not like, I don't know, it's not like Charge is absolutely the worst thing, but I feel like you do something like you said, like some kind of Stargate play, some kind of Dark Shrine, more counterattack, which is going to be hard on this map, but something different. You can't fight that 2-base mech push.
Well, that's the thing you say, that the strongest point about all of this is he knows it's coming. He knows it's coming. So
what does he do? What's his response?
What does he do? That is the big thing here. So I'm actually, my BattleNet's bugging out here, so give me 1 second to get ready to go in. I should be okay to jump into the next game.
I've found a good rhythm with my raspy voice. I feel like I'm your uncle that smoked too much, that's now like dabbling in the hobby with you. I like it.
Thanks for joining me, Uncle Jeff.
This is what you kids do all day?
Yeah, we actually play games all day. Commentating too, so I'm happy you thought you could come up and join me up here, so thank you.
No, but in all seriousness, guys, I will do the best I can to save my voice, as I still am your host. Like, I love commentating, but I do not want my host job. I love looking at this beautiful stage, this wonderful audience. I'm excited to do that, so I'm going to go right to the hotel after this and be as boring and naked as I possibly can. It's usually what I do in hotel rooms.
Be bored and naked?
Yes.
That leads to a dangerous place, Jeff.
Do you wear clothes in your hotel room?
Huh?
Do you wear clothes when you're in your hotel room? Doing it wrong.
Doing it wrong?
Try it.
Yeah, I probably don't, but I don't get bored.
Oh. What do you do in your hotel room? What do you do to keep yourself entertained? Don't answer that.
I'm not going to answer that.
Don't
I kind
answer
of let imaginations go wild with that one. As I can't. So right, if you were playing, what would the change you make be?
Oh, that's a great question. To be honest with you, I've actually I talk a lot about StarCraft. I'm on shows all week long. I stream. And whenever I face the 2-base mech push where they expand behind it, just like we saw from GoOdy, I always look at it and I'm like, why don't Terrans do this all the time? Because let's say Feast handles that better, I feel like it's still a trade. And when Protoss trades their army, they are typically losing that game. They're not a trade army kind of race. Whereas Terran players, especially with Hellbats, those are 100 minerals. They can trade them usually cost effectively, and as long as they're on equal basis behind it, they'll replace those tanks. So I know that's kind of a cop-out, but I guess what I would say is I would look for the counterattack.
Can you counterattack on Akalon Waste, though? It's very difficult in the way that these bases are laid out, and he can destroy the rocks on the 3rd to stop you coming in. He can have his supply depots up on the natural. There's a couple of ways to kind of lock down his base. I mean, I don't know if whether it be a warp prism and go into the main base as he moves out, something along those lines.
Maybe buy time with Blink Stalkers and aggressively expand so that basically GoOdy is very uncomfortable with the fact that, like, okay, he 2-base pushes, but he's like, I can't tell if you're going to just blink into my main and pick me apart, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stop mid-map, and then all of a sudden Feast is on 4 bases versus a newly established 3-base from Terran.
Okay. All right, well, we'll find out here as we load into this next map between these two players. Up here in the top left of Akalon Waste, it is, of course, ESCEU, GoOdy. The Panzer General, this 3-star general. There's nothing funny about being a 3-star general.
No. Why is he not 4-star? What happened?
In Command and Conquer, you can go up to 5. And there is the man himself.
You very matter-of-fact just rattled that off. Like, good God.
That is, of course, GoOdy. And
aren't you glad StarCraft saved you from being a repeat world champion of the game?
Yeah, I hated that. I hated making money. I really wanted to move to a more difficult game where I couldn't beat anybody and make money.
It's like Michael Jordan being like, all right, listen, I've already won 2 world championships in basketball. I'm moving on to golf, guys. I want to try something new.
Could have won a 3rd, could have won a 4th.
Nope.
No, it's
done.
Whatever. And of course, Feast in the bottom right-hand side here, representing Millennium. There he is. Did delay that a little bit there with a little couple of words in between. Feast. Feast.
Now, the
Always
good
been
news
on the borderline of success, I feel.
Yes,
Feast.
yes.
Oh, I loved your aggressive answer, your acceptance
Well, it's
to
true.
what I said.
It's true. He's what was the tournament where he kind of broke out? It was
It
Yes.
was Kiev when he beat like MMA.
Hero. He beat Hero PvP.
Hero.
Remember that? With
Yeah.
Blink Stalkers all 3 games. But he's been a guy who you see him play some games, you're like, whoa, that is one of the best European Protoxes. He's amazing. But for some reason, he just kind of fizzles out in a lot of tournaments, and not necessarily in the latest of stages. I don't feel like he ever has like a big epic meltdown. Like I don't see terrible Feast games, but I just see him hit people that he can beat, but he just doesn't a lot of times.
Yeah, it's crazy. He beat Hero then. He beat MMA last week, is the guy I was trying to roll off my tongue in not last week, 2 weeks ago in WCS Europe. He can beat these top guys,
Yeah.
but I think stringing consistent results together seems to be one of his biggest problems in his StarCraft 2 career. But we'll see if he can do well at this tournament.
Yeah. This is weird from GoOdy.
So, I mean, basically what he's done, he's gone into gas, afforded 50 gas for the reactor, and now we'll just build Marines and expand from it, and then get back into gas after his 400 minerals has been mined up for his expo. And then that's when he'll start to afford his factory.
How come Reactor Marines, though? I mean, I've seen this build before, so it's not like he's doing something super weird, but I guess with you and your knowledge, I mean, why do you think the Reactor Marines, what is that good against?
The Reactor Marines is just pumping out 2x2 and keep them pumping out 2x2. And so there's no downtime. When you have to add in the reactor to get the Marines count high, you do it very early, because at this point of the game, you shouldn't really be accepting any damage, and if you do, you build a bunker, so you have that window of opportunity to do it. And then from here on out, he keeps them building 2x2, and we could see them used together. But, was there a Zealot made? I don't know, like, if you were looking at that. Because this engineering bay has gone down, and it's high.
No, I don't think so.
And this is going to be difficult. He didn't build the mothership core, means on the other side of the map. He didn't build a Zealot. What, I mean, is this annoying as a Protoss player?
Oh,
is this something that you go, oh, this is so bad?
Well, here's the thing. Feast opened up double gas, so it would be bad if he was on single gas, because his whole build would be 1 gate expand, and that gets ruined by this. With the double gas, he has the ability to do what he just did, which is like, okay, I'm going to go 1 base Blink Stalkers, and it's not necessarily what I wanted to do, but this can incur enough cost from the Terran player that it kind of equalizes, or you all in with it, you can just go for the win.
And now, I mean, the biggest way to deal with this is obviously tanks and bunkers. That's the number one, you can't break me anymore. GoOdy has no scouting information out on this map. Is he going to go ahead and take a scan? Yeah, probably not.
I hope so. Yeah.
I don't think so. You think he'd waste a scan? It's a Terran player, man. They're greedy. You know they don't waste scans.
That's why I'm saying I stopped myself, because I would say I hope so, because that would be safe play. But these Terran players, man, they're Scrooge McDucks. They don't necessarily do that.
They like every little bit of money.
He's already doing it, though. He's got a bunker on the high ground, so I think he sniffs this out. I actually really don't like that bunker, because it's basically him saying, well, I'll forfeit the natural. But
he's building a tele-up, too.
It's not in place to defend the main from a blink in from that 3rd base spot.
He's actually reading this upon realizing that the the Nexus was going to go down late. He's got a tech lab coming down on his
I like Feast build
on his factory.
I love that he's not all inning with this. Yeah, he's taking a later Nexus, which should be bad, but the strength of the mothership core and the threat of Blink Stalkers means that the almost equivalent cost is going to come out of GoOdy, because he has to take that threat serious. Because if there is no Nexus, and this is like 4 gate Blink Stalkers, without those extra bunkers and tanks, he dies 100%.
Well, this is rather interesting here, because GoOdy's slowing himself, as you said, so far back here. I mean, if you look at the probe to SCV count at the bottom of the screen, it's 26 SCVs to 31 probes.
Yeah.
And now the Nexus is about to complete. He's going to have double probe production. GoOdy's actually stopped SCV production at this point to make sure he can to defend this. He's supply boxed a little bit.
He's already picking up. There's a Baneling bus coming that only he sees.
There's a couple of Stalkers here, which are going to poke in and harass a little bit, but he's been completely faked out here. Behind this, we should see nothing but Chronoboost going into the Nexus, man. He's going to pull up such a lead if he does this.
What are you looking at? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so these Marines are unupgraded, and I feel like they'll remain that way. Like, I could see GoOdy actually going into mech off of this. He likes those Marines as a part of his mech play, but that's, of course, kind of a distant vision. Not future, LOL. Feast is in great position right now. He's like you said, he's got a 9 Harvester advantage.
Yeah.
He's mining off of 2 mineral lines, whereas we see Feast just now at 1 base economy. And Feast can keep these Blink Stalkers as a threat continuously for a very long time.
And as soon as GoOdy tries to move down to the natural, he just blinks in the main again.
Yep, he's going to force field it too.
To be honest, we talked a little bit about, what composition should he change to make it better this time around, but he doesn't need to do anything. He can build anything and everything now.
Yeah.
Like, you can go Immortals, you can go Colossus, you can go Templar. It doesn't actually matter because he'll have twice as many units.
Yep, gets the medevac. It's actually kind of a big deal. One of the only ways that this becomes a bad news bears is if like 3 or 4 medevacs roll down with Tank Marine. That can do damage to a Stalker-based army, but when those medevacs get peeled away, there's nearly no push power. Feast has also been chrono-boosting probes like all get out. A little bit of a misplaced force field there, which means that he's not going to delay quite as long as he wanted, but the tanks actually have to go on the low ground to fully protect this natural.
So at this point here for Feast, not a major supply lead, and he is down in army supply, but he's not building units, so that's kind of a given at this point, but 48 probes to 31 SCVs. I mean, he's got Zealot Charge and Armor on the way again. He's not even decided to get the Robotics Bay here. It looks like he's just going over to Templar Archives quite fast.
It's a good choice. I mean, if this is like a greedy 3-base mech play, having Charge-Lot Stalkers could mean that you just end the game. Like, you did too much economic damage and now you have a gigantic army. It's also good against like a counter push from GoOdy. If GoOdy decided like, you know what, I'm too far behind, I don't want to macro and attack, you wouldn't want to be caught trying to tech. You want to be caught with just base units that have the right upgrades, blink and charge.
Well, this is a pretty good situation for the Feast to be in now. He's going to start looking towards taking the 3rd base momentarily here. No reason not to, considering he's so far ahead. Any attack comes out, it's not coming for a long time, as we can see the factories only just being built here by GoOdy, who is currently leading this best of 3 series, 1 game to 0. And a couple of extra gateways aren't coming down on the Templar Archives.
So I think we see a different GoOdy now, and I like his response. Like, game number 1, his economy was unimpeded, so that meant that he decided, okay, I'm going to push out while I take a 3rd. Very dangerous. This game, he should know he has no ability to push out. So what he's doing is saying, okay, Akelon Waste allows me to take 4 bases if I want. Absolutely super safe. Like, it's so hard to attack up either that ramp or through those rocks. And then even after that, the 4th base, there's a ledge you can park tanks on that make it so hard to attack into. So GoOdy can go a 45-minute game off of 4 bases. That's fine against a 7-base Protoss. It's hard, but it's doable. So that might be what he's just going to try to do.
I really don't think that GoOdy should attempt any sort of timings. It's just not possible. If he tries anything, he gets crushed in the middle of the map even.
Yep.
While his tanks are on siege. And as you say, I think you nailed it. Like, playing it out long, suck it in, big guy, because you've got to take this 3rd base. You've got to sit back and do nothing until you're 200 supply, and then go with the best army you can make and give it your all. Because if he goes in, and as you said, in that previous game, in that previous fight, he lost almost nothing. If he can achieve that again, that's going to be his only way to victory here, I feel.
And
Hellbat drops 2 mixed into that.
Sure. Ooh. Why not? Here it comes. It's over here on the right side. It's a Marine drop. Which, it's actually a little bit silly to see. He had a lot of Marines, and he's not upgrading them at all, so that's a little bit silly, but, GoOdy knows best. He is the Panzer General. This drop's going to come in. Again, no stim, no combat shield, nothing like that. Just kind of 8 naked Marines in a medevac.
Everyone excited for this medevac to drop down here as it does plop down 8 Marines, and he's going to get a couple of probe kills for his trouble. And that's a good start to the comeback here for GoOdy if he's going to make this possible. He does kill off about 6-7 probes there.
Any kill from this drop is a win as far as I'm concerned. Like, actually, one thing to criticize Feast for is I think he only has 1 observer out at that 3rd.
Yeah, he does only have 1 observer.
He's got pretty poor map vision, all things considered.
All right, well, GoOdy is 104 supply to 118 at this point. Does have his +1 attack on the way. That army's starting to build up. I definitely believe while sitting back and trying to build himself up, he's already got that 4th command center on the way.
Yeah.
Hellbat drops is something he should absolutely be focusing on here. If he's able to slow Feast down while he's starting to climb back into the game, perfect for GoOdy here, but he doesn't really have any units being made from that starport yet.
More barracks. Very strange. Very
Is that
strange.
not just for the Ghost production?
I guess so, but 3 barracks Ghosts? Do you need that? Wouldn't it just be like 1 barracks Ghost? I don't know.
Well, 1 may not give you enough. 2 maybe. 3...
Excellent.
Excellent. Goody knows what he's doing.
It's the right number. We're going to have a momentary pause here, but one thing I would say is Feast is kind of I mean, what do you think about this expansion choice as fourth? It's basically him, because that fourth behind the Destructible Rocks is the push point. If you ever push towards your opponent, that's the first base you hit. You don't go right up into the natural. So I guess is that what he's doing?
I think so.
Oh, he keeps hearing it cast.
It's not the StarCraft 2 cast. We're actually nowhere near the players. He said it's a different cast, but it was annoying him a little bit.
If he could have heard us, then it would have been beautiful.
It would have been beautiful. I mean, he would have known what Goody was going to do because we told Goody what to do.
That is true. My voice, it feels like it's
like getting better the more you talk.
Is
like,
it
what
actually?
The hell?
These tanks make even me stronger. Hellbats are helping my voice. All right, enough jokes.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
I love it. I don't like the location.
Void raise.
Hide him. You know what I mean?
He's hiding in plain sight, Jeff.
Okay, there you go. I like that.
He's hiding in plain sight, right bang in the middle of his main base. Goody would never suspect the void raise to be there.
Dude, if I ever rob a bank, the first place I'm hiding is at the police station. They would never see me coming.
You like hide in the bathroom of the toilet in the bank?
Yeah. How did you find me? I don't know. I had to take a poop.
All right, so basically we talked a little bit about this option earlier in the previous game. Goody's army is Hellbats, tanks, and maybe a couple of Vikings. If Feast gets up to 6, 8 plus Void Rays, everything dies.
Yeah.
But Thors are being built. Oh my god. Why would you do that?
Goody's just...
Why would you do... As soon as I say that, you... God damn it.
You know, if it is just the 1 or 2 Thors, though... And Vikings. What is happening? Did he see it?
No, he definitely didn't. He definitely
just
hasn't
naturally
seen it.
does that?
But it's really funny because, I mean,
Holy
I guess
cow.
we didn't really see
Blind
him.
Vikings?
We didn't really see
Blind
him.
Vikings?
Yeah,
Why?
the mothership core. You got to get rid of that bitch.
Get out of here. I mean, maybe for Colossus, but
I think
Vikings.
Colossus is the actual answer there.
Yeah.
Not the mothership core.
He just naturally makes the perfect army. This is so stupid. Goody, that's not fair. That's not fun.
All right, he's moving out now,
How
and
do you stop this army?
He's close to 185 supply, pushing up with a couple of supply depots finished. We have Tempest, not Void Rays being built.
I feel like
The Fleet Beacon did come down.
Yeah, well, he started Void Rays and canceled with Tempest. That got scanned, by the way. So now he sees the Stargates. But I look at these two armies and I think like a boxing match. He's like, in the blue trunks, weighing 126 Dutch pounds, it is Feast. His opponent, weighing 750 pounds, a silverback gorilla that's going to absolutely destroy our Dutch player. Like, this is not even close. Look at the armies.
Can Tempest change this around?
Yeah, you need more Vikings for sure, but he's 4 Stargate, or Starports rather. He knows it. I don't like that he actually pulled back. I think when I see... Well, okay, here's why he did that. He didn't know if there's already 6 Tempest out. He's like, whoa, Stargates, I'm not ready for that. Little does he know that's the first 3 Tempests that would come out.
Yeah.
If he knew that, he would have attacked. But now he's like, I don't know if that's 9 or 10 or whatever.
All right, well, this has just turned into a rather interesting game here. Despite Feast having an economic lead the entire of the game here, Goody's played it out rather well. You know, he was at a disadvantageous position. He's, you know, still a little bit behind in terms of upgrades. That's where, you know, Feast has that +3 armor and +1 air attack. But this army is very brutal. Goody's got to where he wanted to be. He's pushing 200 supplies on 4 bases. And look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 product. Not quite 7, but it's close. So you almost nailed that down. How the hell did that get in there?
He actually spotted above the rocks with his pylon.
Well, that's cute.
It's like you take away our high ground warping, Feast still finds a way to be annoying. I love
So
it.
let's get thrown in here. Goodbye, guys. You are not needed anymore.
I mean, he's opening up supply for more Tempest, so that's the good news. I think one thing that's now being kind of shown to not be exploited is that Goody doesn't have sensor towers or like missile turret rings in his main. Warp Prism Harass would be fantastic. We're not getting that. Feast is kind of tunnel vision. And as we can see here, there goes the base trade option now as well. So he's stuck.
Oh, God.
And I don't know this won't be close.
I mean, ideally, he wants Storm to be able to protect his Tempest from these Vikings, but
there's no stalkers. You can't even protect them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's got to be so careful here. Vikings are getting so close into these Tempests. The Archons are going to get a lot of damage there because the Vikings are clumped up, but he does pull back just in time. And a lot of good EMPs coming down as well. GoOdy, what are you doing to us here today? The Protoss army is just melting.
It's a routing. They're running.
Oh my god, the Tempests are dying as well. What are we seeing? Feast is plummeting in supply here.
Not even close.
And now the tank siege up on this natural. The Vikings, only a couple are left here. There are a couple more Tempests coming out. 4 Tempests are about to come out here. He could turn it around, but he's going to
kill
lose
the
a lot.
anti-air. I mean, that's the good news. But there's 8 Vikings being made at a time. And if this Protoss army gets out of the corner, it dies to those tanks.
Oh, there's a DT being walked in as well. Desperation here from Feast, trying to hold on. Remember, he's 0-1 behind in this series. If GoOdy wins with this attack, he's going to win the series. The DT coming in, the Tempest doing some free damage now as the Vikings are not there in time. But this army is getting destroyed. The Immortals. Feast has a lot of money, a lot of gas. He's got a lot of expansions around the map, but not necessarily mining. I mean, the south base, the north base not mining. There is a counterattack going on towards GoOdy's third base, as we can see on the mini-map here. A couple of Zealots and 2 DTs.
This is great. This is great, because actually GoOdy does not have a gigantic bank, so these Tempests are starting to win out in the air battle. The counterattack has shut down the mining of that third base. And now the tanks have to go home. And if you look behind this, Feast, I mean, he's got 2 bases he's not mining from. If he can find the probes to get to those, we're talking about a 5-base Protoss with that's great income.
That's fantastic income.
I just did the math in my head. That's really good income.
That's really good. That's a lot of income. DTs.
We're really good commentators.
We are the best.
That's a lot of money.
That's
a lot of money.
If you look at GoOdy, he's got a lot of gas right now. We are premier casters. As DTs do make their way into the mineral lines here, and this is rather frustrating.
This is starting to look good for GoOdy.
For GoOdy?
Yeah.
Look good for GoOdy?
Not looking good for GoOdy.
Oh, I thought you said look good. We are premier casters in control.
The Terran doesn't seem to be doing too hot. I don't know. There's actually oracles coming out. Okay, to spot for the Tempest. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, a bit of revelation. Cheeky ability. Get down onto these units as the Tempest doing a lot of damage. You've got to be careful.
Like these Tempests out here.
Oh my god, there's so many Vikings. You've got to be so careful.
He might have just thrown this away. The DTs are doing such great damage. The Tempests are not standalone units. They need support.
Oh my god, what?
They're getting picked apart. There's no running. You can't run anywhere.
Feast, what have you done? It was looking good, and all of a sudden these Tempests out in the open.
Quickly, Oracles. Go spot those.
To the death.
Oh, damn.
To the slaughter chamber Oracles as they go head to tail straight in front of these Vikings. And, well, everything's dying here from Feast. He's down to 90, supply to 150.
Yeah.
Good game. Oh, my God. GoOdy
geez.
pulls off the 2-0 victory. The Panzer General